Good afternoon, colleagues. I am a moderator and I will open this event. We are delighted that we managed to organize this event today because it is a vacation period. It is quite difficult. So we decided to catch up on the last day of July. And by this, we will complete the half a year of our work, which we will represent. It will be the feasibility study on the results of a pilot project in Kyrgyzstan to accelerate cross-border paperless trade in Central Asia. I want to say that there is a translation. If you choose the Russian channel, you will be listening to the presentations of my colleagues in Russian, and my colleagues will accordingly hear you. So I hope that there will be active discussions today. And in the beginning, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Jan Duval, Chief of Trade Policy and Facilitation section of ESCAP. Then our colleague Yen Fan Lee, Associate Economic Affairs Officer from the same section, will give the welcome remarks. And Mr. Osenbaev will greet us as well. Thank you very much. I see that the customs office is with us, therefore we may start. Jan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alexei, and good afternoon, all of you. I didn't know it was a vacation day for you, right? So I hope you'll still enjoy the consultation. I'd like to express deep appreciation for your attention to the issues of developing cross-border paperless trade in Kyrgyzstan and the Central Asian region as a whole. And I invite all the participants to really see this consultation and the work that is being done in the wider context of digital transformation that is ongoing in almost all the countries and regions across the globe at this point. So ESCAP welcomes the active participation of Kyrgyzstan since its accession as the newest member, in fact, to the Framework Agreement on Facilitation of Cross-Border Paperless Trade in Asia and the Pacific in December 2023 last year. I'm very confident that continued and increased involvement in the activities of the treaty can help boost Kyrgyzstan's competitiveness and enhance its paperless trade connectivity with partners' economies in Central Asia and also beyond, because treaty members go beyond simply Central Asia. The feasibility study we will present today confirms the relevance of Kyrgyzstan's participation in the Framework Agreement. It aims to examine various options for implementing electronic information and document exchange systems between Kyrgyzstan and its trading partners, and to identify feasible pathways. The results can support important policy decisions and provide a basis for securing the funds also for actual and progressive implementation of cross-border paperless trade. The key result of the study is the examination and identification of a possible project. So that project is the electronic exchange of certificates of origin with Uzbekistan. The project holds the potential to significantly reduce financial and time costs, simplify trade procedures, and increase the transparency of operations. Ultimately, the implementation of these types of projects will contribute to strengthening economic ties between Central Asian countries and also enhancing Kyrgyzstan's competitiveness. So with Kyrgyzstan already party to the treaty and framework agreement, and Uzbekistan apparently in the final stages of accession, implementation of projects with high impact potential, such as the one that's going to be presented today, may be accelerated and expanded to other parties and countries across Central Asia, as it is first implemented on a bilateral basis between Kyrgyzstan and other countries. So thank you very much for your attention, and I really wish you a fruitful meeting today, including the presentation of the study results. Back to you, Alexei.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to this consultation meeting. I will just say a few words about the overall project. Since the beginning of this year, early part of this year, we have been conducting a series of feasibility studies on electronic exchange in Central Asian countries, including Kyrgyzstan. And during these few weeks now, we are having the national meetings presenting the results of the feasibility studies. This includes key results of proposing certain documents for exchange between proposed partner countries. So these are the potential pilot projects that you may be considering. So at a national meeting such as this one and following the meeting, we hope to get your feedback, the comments, your frank opinions from country stakeholders, how you see the findings, how you see the proposals, what gaps there are, what suggestions you may have, and this can help us to further refine the studies, to further tweak potential pilot project plans, and thinking about next steps. So these next steps may include a sub-regional meeting later this year, where we bring together the 4 countries that have been involved in these studies. And we could discuss perhaps together with potential donors, donor international organizations, of how, discussing how we may make this practical, we may implement this in pilot projects in perhaps next year or in the coming years. So really looking forward to the presentation by Alexei and your comments later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Yanfai and colleagues, Aidarbeck. Yes. Good afternoon, colleagues, once again. The Ministry of Economy and Commerce of Kyrgyz Republic, the National Council on Trade Facilitation welcomes the representatives of ESCAP, Mr. Lee. We thank you. First of all, would like to thank the Secretariat of ESCAP for the provided support in pilot project conducting, which is devoted to the certificates of origins between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. As you may know, Kyrgyzstan is active in implementation of all activities which are included in the plan of the trade facilitation. Besides, Kyrgyz Republic officially ratified the law on acceding of Kyrgyz Republic to the Paperless Trade Framework Agreement, and in this regard, the introduction, the implementation of e-forms of all necessary documents of the exchange of information and the mutual recognition is very crucial for us. And we are ready to cooperate along all aspects, along all areas with the ESCAP Secretariat. And today, we are considering the feasibility study, which has been developed with expert support of UNESCAP. And today, all stakeholders, our secretariat, single window are included in our conversation, Chamber of Commerce, also the Customs Service of Kyrgyz Republic. And I hope that our work will bring concrete results and will launch the channel of exchange of certificates of origin between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. Thank you very much for your assistance provided. And I give the floor to Alexei to continue our activity. Thank you very much, Aidarbeck. Indeed, we have big plans ahead, and we've made only one step towards them. And we assess the areas we have to develop and identify some areas. And you say about the full-fledged implementation of the project, which is very, very nice to hear. And can you hear? Can you see the slide? Can I continue? Yes, we can see it perfectly well. So today, Bulat Taksabayev, we have with us, he's our national consultant. Due to him, this study has come to fruition, and my presentation has several parts. I will tell you what this feasibility study is. I will tell about the methodology we used for this study and the findings, the main part of the presentation. And we would like to hear from you the feedback. As Jern Fay said, it is very important for us to have the national consultations, to listen to you, to hear your opinions, what can be done to refine to this study. And I believe that we'll come to agreement on some time frame for this report with stakeholders for their consideration. And Bulat Taksabayev will be collecting the comments and feedback and answer your questions, if any. And then we will finalize our report, and it will be published as a publication. And we believe that this publication will enable you to refer to the study and talk about the relevance of this area. And then you may show it to the donors working active in the region in order to have an endorsement, provision of some support. And it might well be used at the national level. Allow me to present our project. Why? We talk about pilot projects and the feasibility studies. You know that Kyrgyzstan has become the member to the framework agreement, and this agreement, 13 articles, says that if countries have pilot projects and transfer to transboundary information cooperation, then they should have pilot projects in order to scale them up if in case of success. And so the other countries in the region could learn from them. And in this regard, UNESCAP has funding from our partner countries, in particular from China People's Republic, which supports this project within the initiative Belt and Road. And within this initiative, a series of feasibility studies were supported in Central Asia, and we've conducted them in 4 countries, and Kyrgyzstan is one of the countries. And we've looked and selected business processes which would have been of relevance. And quite recently, on Monday, we've had the discussion of the project results in Uzbekistan, and one of the project concerned Uzbekistan-Kazakhstan relations. And today we present the Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. I believe that if 2 countries support the information exchange, there is chance to implement it. If only one country is ready, then there is no need even to start it. Therefore, we try to understand in the region in which areas it is best for the countries to work. Either it is bilateral relations or multilateral relations. Therefore, we launched this project, and in order to transfer to the transboundary paperless trade, first we have to identify what documents and information we have to exchange, and look at what has been done at the national level and prepare the countries to the transboundary paperless trade. In order to do this, there is a document, such document as a feasibility study, which allows to make a decision whether this direction should be taken, or maybe it will be it will not be such successful, and the resources will be spent in vain. Therefore, the feasibility study should be implemented as the first step. It will allow us to understand what are the risks before the project has been implemented, to make an informed decision. And when we say that there are many benefits for both state and businesses, and if there is readiness from Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, then the probability is increasing, and it will allow to achieve the trust between the stakeholders, so they could understand what they can expect from this project and make informed or justified decisions. So both parties should be interested in it. Therefore, this feasibility study allows to understand what concrete documents are needed to be agreed, and what countries should be engaged, and also the model of implementation is being proposed for this project, and the economic impact and costs are evaluated also. UNESCAP has quite vast experience in these projects and have a big practical base garnered on which the methodology has been built, which includes various stages. We have methods of collecting information on the first stage, and then analysis and recommendations. It has taken half a year. As I said, in January, we started with interviews. In April, May, we've collected data and started processing them. And today we are ready to present the results. The main components of the feasibility study are shown on the screen. I will not look into them, we'll just look into the practical cases. In order to collect data, we had interviews, we communicated to public authorities, to business structures. In general, as I said, the UNESCAP has a comprehensive methodology which has been used for this research, for this study. This methodology has 7 steps, and if you look at the report, which we will disseminate today, this report structures all these steps more in detail. First step, we identify concrete trade documentation of partner countries and study what the current situation is, what projects are worth of studying, exploring, and what projects are most relevant and the most relevant partner country. The second step stipulates we have chosen some project concrete, and we describe the current situation and legal framework and technical component at the national level, which is in place there. We propose on the step 3 business model, what are objectives, what are goals, what business model should be implemented, whether it should be an e-document or just a date or some register model. There are various means of provision of transboundary exchange. And at this stage, we propose the most optimal model 2B. And further, in order to go from the model as is to the model 2B, we built an economic model. And in order to build it, we need to carefully look at all costs, project-related costs, not only inception costs, but all other ones which are related with the viability of this maintenance of the viability. So these various types of costs. And after all these costs have been studied, we have to evaluate the benefits, profits for the state and businesses. And we have these categories, costs and benefits. So we may calculate the economic feasibility, effectiveness, efficiency, and look at the project and understand who will bear these costs. The next step 5, this is operational. This is operational interoperability, and who is a leading agency, what participants should be involved, and how the capacity should be developed, the trainings, and so on. And the next stage is the plan. Any project should be beefed up by the plan, and we have some draft plan which can be taken as a basis. And I know in Kyrgyzstan there is an active, the National Trade Facilitation Committee is very active. And just look at the plan. We proposed more than 20 activities within this plan. I believe that it will be useful for you. And you may also pick some interesting activities for you, and include the implementation of some projects of interest in your plans. So the next step also envisage the cooperation on those issues where you have to agree with other countries. I believe within this platform, there might be discussions of the project, who can support this project in terms of funding or co-funding, and donors. We talk about donors who are active in the region, who are ready or might be ready to fund this project. So this is in brief how we've done this study. And now I will tell about the findings. On the first step, we looked in depth to the analysis of trade documentation and partner countries, and there was a list of more than 20 documents, and we arranged them by relevance. We have identified the 4 criteria: the level of automation, can the document be received in e-form, the frequency, how many documents are being submitted during the year to streamline the process, then the level of interagency cooperation, how customs officers and the relevant agencies are related to each other, and the level of integration with a Tunduk and the single window. We looked at these documents, ranged them, and have chosen 8 priorities, you can see. And on the first place, there is a certificate of origin, 11 scores, then a phytosanitary certificate, and so then an invoice, and so on. So for the implementation of the pilot project, we propose to choose the certificate of origin. At the same time, we have to justify which country is subject to this certificate of origin. We propose look at the neighboring countries of Kyrgyzstan, and then we look at the trade turnover, and we have built the level of 20, the list of 20 countries, and 8 most relevant priority countries have been chosen, and Uzbekistan was the first. Kazakhstan, Russia did not participate in this selection because they don't have need in certificates of origin, and Kitay and Turkey had less scores because it is not the form ST1, and we looked at the products which are exported by Kyrgyzstan to its partners along those products where preference can be received. And based on that, Uzbekistan was on the first place, and we proposed the implementation of the pilot project on certificates of origin between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. And this, if you read the report, the key feasibility study was dedicated to certificate of origin between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. We looked at the legal framework, issuance of certificates of origin, who are participants to this project could be. And in Kyrgyzstan, there is a legal framework in order to issue e-certificates of origin and recognize it, acknowledge it. And but we came to the conclusion that Kyrgyzstan so far does not use this e-certificate of origin from other countries in order to transfer to transboundary information exchange, the data, there should be some additional work on national information systems, the module which will process the request from other countries, and the module which will allow to send the inquiries to other countries who provided the certificates of origin. So despite the legal framework, the technical framework also should be developed, and agreements with other countries also should take place on a mutual recognition, and there are no any agreements on it. We looked at all business processes. We based on the handbook of the UNESCAP manual, and we looked at the process of the certificate of origin in Kyrgyzstan, how to obtain it and transfer to Uzbekistan, and vice versa. How customs services of Kyrgyzstan check, validate this certificate of origin and take the decision on preferences. And here you see the diagram of action. It is more detailed scheme, which step by step describes this process. And in red, you see the most backlogs, time backlogs, and you see that some issues with obtaining this document, receiving, and while taking a decision on preference. You see the businesses spends a lot of time, and the state as well for the issuance of documents. Although you look at the process, it is automated until this issuance of documents, paper-based document, which needs additional costs from both parties. And when this clearance of goods, also the country spends a lot of time to validate this document. They should obtain some original of the documents, and somehow it should be find its way to the customs office, and the decision should be taken on the goods clearance. Then after the analysis of business processes, we have identified the It is a paper-based issuance of document, which brings some time consumption, additional up to 40 minutes for the state bodies and up to 1 hour for business community. Then it should be given to the driver and so on. And it is very difficult to validate the authenticity of the certificate because of course, the customs officers know pretty well the certificates from Uzbekistan. They can choose, they can check quickly, and in Uzbekistan as well. But with other countries, it is not so. Therefore, there is no an e-exchange. There is a risk that the certificate can be forged eventually. Also, a certificate can get lost and so on. And there are such risks, and in order to minimize them, to eliminate them, the process could be streamlined. How this process could be streamlined? This slide shows the general scheme of cooperation of transboundary information exchange of data on issued certificates of origin. You see, in Kyrgyzstan, the system of a single window of Kyrgyzstan is already implemented. The application can be submitted electronically. It goes to the register and to the Chamber of Commerce. It goes to the Chamber of Commerce and then to the Customs Office. This is a similar way. It is a single window. Then from importer, then it goes to Uzbek expertise and to the Customs Committee. The Customs Committee is the leading body for the development of the single window. When we talk about the single window in Uzbekistan, we understand that the Customs Committee is responsible for it. In Kyrgyzstan, the situation differs. The single window window is done by the center of the single window under the ministry. Therefore, of course, accordingly, the Customs Office is connected to the single window. What we propose to do, we have studied the practices of the exchange of e-certificates according to ST1 form, and came to the conclusion that currently the practices is quite limited, and the successful experience is lies with Russian Federation and the Republic of Azerbaijan. And within this project, the Customs Office agreed that they will exchange the data on certificates issued at the national level, and there is a bilateral agreement between the Customs Office and agreement on the information data and the channel of transmitting this data. And accordingly, if the product is sent to the Russian Federation, it is not accompanied by the paper-based certificate. It has been sent to, it is taken in the single window, it is e-form, and vice versa. And this information is in Russia from importers sent to the Federal Customs Office, and it's sent to Azerbaijan. And the Russian Federation came into agreement into the similar agreement with the Republic of Tajikistan, and we consider that this experience can be applied. In our case, it will be the Customs Committee of Uzbekistan, and from your side, this is a single window center and the Customs Service of Kyrgyzstan. It will send the data to the this single window to Customs Committee, and the e-document won't be issued. There will be only the data that the certificate is in this register, and the inquiry can be made to that register. After the goods arrive to Uzbekistan, then a declaration is submitted with number and date of the certificate. And based on this information, the request is formulated, sent to the to the customs service of Uzbekistan, which takes information from the single window and reverts back to Uzbekistan that the certificate was issued, and the decision about preferences can be. This is a to-be model. It is described in the report. Please look careful at it. And for this model, we also built a business process and describe the participants to this business process. You see that not many steps are different, but the quality of these steps change. So paper-based certificates are no longer there, and the data is transmitted through the e-form. And you see what the emphasis I've done on this slide, that on the stage of the issuance of the certificate of origin, the exporter who asked for this certificate is send the data, as well might be to importer in Uzbekistan who will include them in their declaration. And when the declaration submitted to the customs borders within customs clearance will request the information. I will request the information in order to validate the data, and after the response received, reply received, the decision will be taken on preferences or refusal of thereof. And the similar scheme will work for the goods which are imported from Uzbekistan to Kyrgyzstan, sorry, and the similar system will increase the transparency of this process, will eliminate the need for the paper documents, will cut time costs, labor costs, and the process will be transparent. It will be easy to check this certificate, and it can be done in absolutely automated form. No need to take some additional actions from the official of the customs office. So this request will be sent electronically. Within a minute, the response will be received, and the decision on clearance will be taken. In general, the experience of the Russian Federation can show that the declaration of goods is done automatically, and the official's role is minimal because all the information which trader provides can be checked through this system. In order to understand how much is this project, we've done the analysis of economic costs. In general, we divided the investments into the initial investments and operational expenses from Kyrgyzstan. There will be a need of $130,000. We looked carefully at the economic attractiveness, yes, of this project. I said that this electronic exchange will cut labor costs, time costs, and we evaluated I calculated the money-wise, and the project is economically beneficial. We can see that in the first year, the indicators are not that optimistic. It is, but during the next 5 years, the project shows its efficiency, its benefits, and the implementation of this project will allow for agreements with other CIS countries who recognize this certificate, and there won't be a need in additional cost. This project can be scaled up to Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, and therefore no additional costs incurred. Then we looked at the general case, how much money will be needed, about 216,000 from Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, and the cost recovery for this and the time input it will be 1 year, because not many certificates are issued between the countries. If other countries are included to this project, then the efficiency of the project will increase. The operational interoperability and engagement of process participants. As I said, during the presenting the 2B model, the main thing for the transboundary information exchange is the main entity is customs office of Kyrgyzstan, and customs officers can easily agree between themselves. And the main issue is the issue of recognition of the data you receive. If you receive this data from the similar authorized body who is responsible for this data at the national level, then the trustworthiness, reliability of this data is increasing. You understand that you receive this from the authorized organ, and within the bilateral cooperation, when there is such an agreement, this can be implemented even quicker. We understand that in Kyrgyzstan there are 2 bodies involved, and there will be exact responsibilities divided between the 2 bodies, but nevertheless, the leading office should be identified. In our opinion, it is customs office, because they are they eventually check the certificate of origin and take the decision on preferences. It is not the responsibility of the Chamber of Commerce or a single window, and they are they eventually is a body who is the leading, in our opinion, the leading party. Within the report, in 6 sections where we describe the activities, we divided them for the preliminary and the development of the TOR and the implementation of the pilot and the programming for the development of the information system and testing and decision on scaling up. And this project, in our opinion, will take 2.5 years, and a lot of activities related to the description of the TOR and agreement with partners and approval of the bodies concerned in Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and will take, and donors should be found. After that, the programming and putting into operation will be quicker. And we understand that the last stage, 25-26, will be related to the monitoring and assessment and scaling up. And within the 7th step, we describe those platforms which are in place at the national level, bilateral level, at the regional level. And we understand that there are special intergovernmental commissions which can be given this agenda. We understand that the level of relations between Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan is improving, and the trade turnover is increasing, and the last meeting of the presidents of the countries is a proof to this. and the objectives are to increase the trade turnover. Also shows the relevance of the project. So because the number of certificates of origin should increase in view of this. And we see that this agenda can be also elevated, and Uzbekistan has taken the political decision that they accede to the framework agreement, and we are waiting for the signing of this agreement by the president of Uzbekistan, and after that they will be full-fledged participants, and this project can be a flagship project. Can run the flagship project, which will show the efficiency of acceding of both countries to this agreement. There will be intergovernmental commissions who will look at this issue. Also, there is a regional dialogue between the National Committee of Trade Facilitation, which we propose to use. Within this dialogue, all regional donors participate, and you know that there are a lot of activities which are implemented by these donors, USAID, KGZ, UNESCAP, UNESCAP, and we describe the similar project in the region, and we see that the International Trade Center is already interested in this topic. We've already had inquiry from them. Please share the information about this feasibility study, because they say we have started the second stage for Central Asia, and we want to work on the certificates of origin because they are already, because this work has been started, similar work in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. And accordingly, we supported partly Kyrgyzstan in terms of establishing the module of on issuance of electronic certificate of origin. And of course, in our opinion, when we talk about these investments, necessary investments, we see that the International Trade Center can support Kyrgyzstan in this regard. What are findings and recommendations? You know, these recommendations can we've done them not only on the based on the Kyrgyzstan project, but as other projects in Central Asia and other countries where we've implemented the feasibility studies. And we came to the conclusion that in many cases, the improvement and revamping of a national information system is needed, and this module should be implemented based on international standards in order for countries to understand each other. And now you may envisage it while developing your information systems, and in order for information exchange work and data be politically relevant, we have to provide for the legal framework. Within UNESCAP, we have an active discussion related to the mechanism of mutual recognition. The work is quite complicated. A lot of approaches it brings with it, and a lot of practices which allow for exchange of documents. And as Kyrgyzstan is a member to this agreement, you could see that this work allows for identifying the general framework for this legal framework for the participants to the agreement, and then which will lead to the mechanism of mutual recognition inter alia. Also, we propose to move towards these directions based on piloting, first pilot it and this approach, and then scale it up. And we see that the good efficiency is shown by the project on regional integration, regional single window, similar to the ASEAN single window, where the exchange of certificates, the form Article Form D, and all 10 countries exchange phytosanitary certificates through the international hub, ASEAN single window. and any change is related to the psychology of people. And we see that the successful implementation of the project depends on the bodies who are ready to engage in this work, on the readiness to send these electronic documents, to receive them, acknowledge, recognize them, and issues on cross-border, where people used to work with paper documents, and what will happen if they don't have paper documents. So we have to look at all those issues in order to minimize risks of project failure related with unpreparedness of the participants to the process. And within this project, we've identified a number of risks and the lack of motivation of public authorities and agencies for implementing agencies. In order to minimize risks, we proposed a number of activities related to the training and awareness raising of the participants of the process, investments into technical infrastructure, issues related to the discussion of this pilot on the bilateral, multilateral levels in the region. And accordingly, those teams who will move forward this project will include the representatives of various stakeholders, government authorities, and we believe that the mode of piloting is very good suited for this initiative. And we have given recommendations how to form this project team, how it should work in order to the project come to fruition. And thank you. With this, I finished. Thank you for your attention. So now we have 10 minutes to 3. Now I will stop the presentation and we'll be able to discuss it with you. Colleagues, in general, I've presented the report. It is about 75 pages and it contains, and you may get familiarized yourself after today's meeting and give us your proposals. We've chosen this approach in order to present these results and then look at your feedback. So yes, thank you for this informative session. In general, we understood what is going, what is all this about, and what activities. And as we've just become the chair of the Economic Council, we have to put some additional efforts in this regard in order to ensure the efficient trade and involve our partners from neighboring countries. As for your report, indeed, we will send it to state authorities in order to get their proposals, and we will send it back to you. Thank you, Admiral. I believe this report can be of use to you from the point of view that the Secretariat and the Committee on the Trade Facilitation. And I think that our colleagues will support you if you invite us for the next committee meeting. It is in January. It is twice a year. Our National Council, and as a result of the year, and maybe it is the first or second decade of December. And this year, we complete our plan on trade facilitation, on the agreement to WTO 1924 period, and we have to prepare a new plan for the next 3 years, and taking into account just paperless trade issues with emphasis of elimination of paper trade, and taking into account the activities and yes, these are practical proposals can be based. So many studies have been done, have been conducted, and a lot of recommendations. And one of them you've heard about today. And I believe that the plan which was proposed in the report and those justifications which were included, it will allow you to move towards practically for the implementation of this project. And I believe that our colleagues in the region will support it. We believed we have to organize the regional meeting and present all 4 studies. And within this regional meeting, we would like donors to participate. Maybe it will be back to speak or the regional meeting of the national committees on trade facilitation. As far as I remember, let's say the time is in November usually, and I believe it will be in Tajikistan this year. So it will be a preferable option when the national committees meet there. So you physically won't be there. So far, we don't have the possibility to go to Tajikistan. Yes, I did not take it into account, I understand. And online, maybe if there will be an invitation from Tajikistan, right, within speaker. Yes, it is good that I raised this question. I believe we have to focus on the meetings of the national committees. It will be more suitable. It is one of the options, of course, but we have to have some more consultations about that. Yes, understood. Or it might be a separate meeting which UNESCAP could organize. Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. That it is big work has been done, and the presentation is very informative, and the big share of trade indeed is with Uzbekistan. And this project, implementation of this project, will help businesses to effectively manage their resources and indeed help both parties. And we'll also look into the report and issue recommendations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback, colleagues from the Customs Office. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you for the presentation. We can see that a lot of work has been done and the analysis was made. In general, we don't have comments on the presentation, but I'd like to say that we also work with Uzbekistan on information exchange, on cooperation, and we already exchange export data. I've spotted on your slide there were some data on export data and fact of export factual data. I want to say that in terms of export declaration and export also, the work has been done. As for the proposals or comments, we will discuss with our colleagues about the exchange of the certificates of origin and how the mechanism of this exchange. And we will provide you with these comments. Thank you very much. As I said, we relied on the exchange of data in order not to send information about all certificates issues only upon the request. There might be a lot of proposals and would like to hear from you. And the similar presentation has been done for Uzbekistan. We are waiting for some proposals. Maybe they will propose some model and we will share it with you. We'll discuss it with you. In light of it, we will be able to make more informed decision how to organize the check of issued certificate in another country. And for us, it is very important that the customs of Kyrgyzstan is responsible for this process and provide for this system inquiries of and responses. And on the stage of declaration of goods in 44 items, there will be data on certificates and the number of certificates, and according to this information can be checked and sent information. And we are eager to listen to your opinion in this regard. Thank you very much. And colleagues from the single window center, any comments, any feedback, any proposals? I know that last year you did a lot of work, tremendous work on the e-certificates. And do you think this model is viable within the transboundary paperless trade? Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Alexei, thank you for the presentation. I have a question. It is more about the report. I haven't seen this report as yet. It is aimed at a certificate of origin, right? Or it encompasses other documents as well for trade, foreign trade activity. Why I'm asking is because we work with other donors now. Just 1 hour ago, we had a meeting with Karek, and there was an online conference, and also they discuss an issue on implementation of transboundary data exchange and document exchange. So if it encompasses this feasibility study, other issues, we could also scale up to other documents and work with your permission with other donors. First question. Second question is that while analyzing, have you taken into account the requirements of the Eurasian Economic Union? As far as I know, there are some common processes, 76 or common process on exchange of data, on certificates of origin of goods and verification with the third countries. So if we now start implementing, say, with the center, this implementing, maybe this Eurasian Union has other requirements, and we will have additionally change these documents according to the requirements. Have you analyzed the requirements of the Eurasian Union? Thank you, Azamat. First question answer. Feasibility study was conducted, and we justified what projects potentially can be implemented. That is, what are requirements from the business and the state authorities in terms of transboundary relation, and there were two countries, and we looked at the readiness of two countries in relevance of this project. We have made the list of these documents from the countries, and on the first place, it was the certificate of origin between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, and accordingly, the further tell, we say it is the most priority project, and we look at it. And the key part of the report is devoted to this project, specifically a certificate of origin, the ST1 form between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. You can receive the report, it is ready. It might be of use from the point of view of other priorities and identification of other priorities, and the methodology can be applied to other documents and pairs. Only figures change in terms of economic calculations. From the point of view of detailing and description of the models of cooperation and forms and formats and of structures and documents and data, the feasibility study does not envisage it. It just based on the hypothesis that we have this exchange model, how much it will cost, and what economic benefits it can bring. We've done it for the pair Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan. When we talk about the requirements of the Eurasian Union or International Chamber of Commerce and so on, we did not pretend to do this in detail. We know for sure that there are such requirements, and they relate the framework approaches. As a matter of fact, because the certificates of the ST1 are regulated by the legislation of CIS, and therefore, within the Eurasian Union, these certificates of origin are not used in trade between Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Russia Federation. There is no need in this exchange. This general process which you mentioned is the case when on one part the participant to the Eurasian country, on the other part, this third party, there are various forums, ST1 and others, and it is very good that they include recommendations on the formats and structures of e-documents. Accordingly, within the feasibility study, we decided that this implementation of this project is of the pilot is economically viable, feasible, and it will be effective. And when the political decision has been done, the detailed TOR will be developed, which will include these issues. One of the issues will be format and structure of the e-data. And here we have to look carefully at what Russia and Azerbaijan are using. Are they guided by this 76 process? What is there in the international arena, those approaches by the International Chamber of Commerce, because if Kyrgyzstan is not interested in the certificates of ST1, then there will be the issue of a certificate. So all these topics were beyond this project, and we did not touch them on. Thank you. If possible, one thing, our colleague said, wanted to clarify. And the issue concerned that currently Karek ADB donor, and they proposal mutual recognition and exchange of certificates of compliance and the protocol, testing protocols, laboratory. They proposed this project, and there was a preliminary presentation today of this project. And it is envisaged that CAREC countries will exchange the certificates of compliance and acknowledge and recognize them. And Zamat, as I said, asked about the TOR, feasibility study, whether covers other documents. But we understood that the analysis was done only, covered only certificates of origin. And therefore, within the CAREC project and the ADB donoring, there will be another analysis. Analysis of legal and technical readiness of the Kyrgyzstan Republic on the piloting of the document, and therefore I believe there will be it will be even better when we have some pilots on a few documents. This is just clarification. Thank you very much. It is a very interesting and useful information, and I have a proposal to you. Please look at this report from the point of view how it was done, the quality of the analysis and recommendations issued. Because before each project starts, you are, as a coordinating leading body, you have to take a decision how much effort should be spent for its implementation. And the decision should be weighted, and in order to take a decision, you have to assess various aspects. And this report raises a lot of issues to be answered before we start moving. You say about the certificates of compliance and the testing protocols. It is a complicated issue. In order to implement it, a lot of work needed. We have the methodology which allows us to raise this. Look at the methodology. Maybe you will propose to ADB or whoever implement this CAREC. Just tell the ESCAP has this methodology. You may propose, or just ask them in order to take a decision to move to this work. Let us evaluate these issues which are reflected in the analysis. As a matter of fact, I propose to you to make the similar feasibility study for the project which will be implemented in Kyrgyzstan before Kyrgyzstan takes a decision for the implementation of such a project. Yanfai, maybe you will comment. It is my proposal. Maybe I am far too much optimistic in terms of methodology of ESCAP. But in any case, I believe that we have a very good cooperation with ADB, and we could discuss this issue and share our methodological things with them in terms of certificate of compliance. What we have in our report that the certificate of compliance is apparently is one of the priority for transboundary information exchange, but there are a lot of buts, and yes, indeed, we'll discuss this issue, but in the CAREC project so far, we discussed the issue in what countries this project will be piloting. And the second issue, maybe some analysis or study of legal and technical readiness of these countries. And the next step, it will be probably some feasibility study. But we have to identify the countries and partners. And the issue is quite broad. We have to look at the goods which can participate in this project. So there is some time before the feasibility study, which can be discussed later. And now allow me to tell a few words about the regional presentation of this project. I wanted to share my vision with you, my vision. You know that we have a platform of the regional cooperation. And this year, when the meeting was in Almaty, the decision was taken that in this platform, there will be standing working groups. Will be standing working group on transport and transit, and the second working group we propose on the issues of paperless trade, and this issue I discussed with the Secretariat of ESCAP, and there was support voiced that they support this working group. And next week we shall have a meeting of national focal points, and we'll discuss in detail the working group's establishment, and if until November we'll manage to establish a working group on paperless trade, I would propose you to make a presentation at the first sitting of this working group. I believe it will be just in time. Yes, the proposal is excellent, because we don't want to delay some delays with regional meeting. And if the first meeting of the working group will take place is even earlier than the regional meeting, we are for this proposal. As for the certificates of compliance, I know that the ITC had a lot of analytical work in terms of certificates of compliance in all Central Asian countries, and all issues related to pertaining the practices of the issuance of the certificates were identified, and the assessment of compliance and the practices are way apart in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, because Kyrgyzstan, as a member of the union, has undertaken all reforms, and Tajikistan did not do this, and they have another story. In Turkmenistan, even more rigid. They have Turkmen standards, which certifies the whole project on the market, and they have their own approaches. Nothing in common with that situation where Kyrgyzstan is. So ask this information from ITC. They have this study, and ITC supported the project on protocols on trials or tests. This is a good basis for the dialogue within the transboundary cooperation, because there is a database of protocols. It is just from my other past life, just a recommendation, because the information was collected and analyzed and recommendations have been issued. So, and we have to move forward. Who is the manager from ADB who presented the results? Zulfiya? I can give you the contacts. Thank you very much, because we are on friendly terms with ADB, and we can discuss this issue, because it is all related to the development of this topic. And one more thing, in general, when they presented the presentation for the implementation of this project, taking into all the analysis of business processes and the readiness level of all countries, the experts propose a 24-month period of this project, and a lot of work is envisaged, and and they have given a very good time frame, optimistic 24 months. Yes, yes, it's quite quickly. You know, this certificate of compliance causes a lot of questions in the Eurasian Union, and the level of legal framework is so different in current countries, and to achieve the recognition is currently something unachievable. But we have to look at what is for them the outcome. Because if you transfer data from one country to another, and this data is used somehow, but at the same time they still request the certificate of compliance, or the assessment of this compliance is done all on you. So this should be focused at these issues. But if they are not, and the national certificates can be issued based on the, then well, it can be implemented, but you have to understand that it will be not an end result. You will need further project related to adjustment and some other things to bring them to common denominator. Okay. Bulat, would you like to add up something? Yes, good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear participants of our meeting. Thank you very much, Alexei. A lot of thanks for this comprehensive, easy to understand the way of the report. The presentation was very informative, very clear, and we'll get back to you with our comments from the state custom service or single window, and we'll try with all respect to work with our national consultants. Thank you. A lot of thanks to Bulat Toksabayev. Colleagues, please address Bulat, who will collect all your proposals and help you out. Dear colleagues, will we be able to collect this information, to garner this information for during 2 weeks? Not many stakeholders, as a matter of fact, here officially will send you the report. We will send the report and ask them to answer within a fortnight, and take into account this holiday vacation period, and it will be appreciated if you do it until the mid-August. Thank you. Yan Fali, would you like to send something?
Hi. Hi, can you see me? Yes, okay. Hi. Yes, thank you very much, colleagues, for the discussion. I think it's very, very interesting to hear the update about KGZ, about ADB, the proposal. As Alexei mentioned, we have a great working relationship with ADB, with KGZ, and I think there's a lot of synergy, not just in terms of the work we are doing, but also the structures that we have, the mechanisms that KGZ has, our framework agreement, Paperless Trade Council Standing Committee, the various conferences that we have. I think there's quite a few possible events that we can have these presentation or sub-regional discussions for further deliberations on this project for the later half of this year. So I think we can discuss more, and I think there's a lot of work to be done further. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Colleagues, thank you very much for organizing and participating in this meeting. We'll be looking forward these comments and feedback and refine our report, and we'll send you the final version after we receive your proposals. And we will publish, we'll make a publication you will be able to refer to in future. Thank you very much. Yes, Alexei and ESCAP team, thank you very much, and express our solidarity to these actions you propose, because for us, this important significance of e-documents is invaluable. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye, colleagues. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.